Alien Earth has just finished premiering all 8 episodes, and I have a very mixed opinion on this show. So let's talk about it. Now, when the first 2 episodes did premiere, I did say that I would wait until the entire show has finished to review the show again, just so I can give you my final results so I'm not repeating myself every single episode. And now that the entire show has premiered, I can say some of my opinions have changed from the first 2 episodes. One of them being, I actually like the characters of this show. The first 2 episodes, I said that these character stuff, they seem pointless, they need to go somewhere, and it did. Throughout the rest of the show, they made me actually start liking these characters. I was invested in that part of the storyline a lot, which is good, because it's the majority of the show, which I will talk about later. I'm just glad that by the end, I actually enjoyed a lot of these characters. I was invested in a lot of these characters. I was invested in the overall story with these characters. Sure, there's a few subplots here and there that they really could have changed up around these characters because they were just not interesting, but majority of it, I did like. And of course, the parts that we actually do get Alien, especially episodes 5, are the best part of the show. Again, like I said in the first 2 episodes, Alien is the best part, and that remained at the end of the entire show. Episode 5 just gave me everything I loved about this show, and what I love about the Alien franchise in general. These characters are on the ship, no escape, Alien killing all of them off, while adding this murder mystery to it. I just loved that in episode 5, and I kind of want to rewatch that episode alone because it was such a huge standout of this show. It was also the episode where we actually got the most Alien and the most enjoyable episode of this entire show because of that Alien concept, because of that murder mystery concept, and it all just worked in that episode. And I did appreciate the new lore and creatures they added to this Alien universe. You get this like eyeball thing that goes in a person's eye and just takes control of them. That's a cool creature that by the end they kind of did waste, but the concept of that creature alone did work a lot. And on that note, they added all this different lore. They expanded on other pieces of the lore while adding their own new element in there to incorporate this show as its own established thing, not really connecting to the universe. Well, I don't know how that's going to work overall though. And I feel like this show just had a lot of ideas that could have worked a lot more. A lot of the ideas I think did work, they did have great setup towards, but by the end on execution, they completely fumbled the bag. Which leads me into my next point. But real quick, if you want to help me reach my goal of 1K by the end of the year, consider subscribing. Let's continue. Now this show is called Alien Earth, meaning that alien comes to Earth. It's in the title, it makes sense. Well, that concept is what I was excited most about for the show. Seeing Alien attack big cities, seeing Alien actually on Earth causing havoc to all these different people. Yes, we kind of saw it in Alien vs. Predator Requiem, but you can barely see any of that, and I do enjoy that movie. I think I am one of the only few people that actually likes Alien vs. Predator Requiem, but we don't see enough of it for it to be called Alien Earth. This show is actually Alien on Earth. That's why I was completely sold on this concept. Well, this show focuses on the characters, which I will talk about, but less time on Alien. And when we do see Alien actually on Earth, it's either on a crashed ship on Earth, or it's in a setting where you don't even get to see him actually in the city on these landscapes that are only on Earth, because we're focusing way too much on this culture stuff. If you have a concept of Alien on Earth, you have to actually build into that. You have to actually show Alien on Earth, because that's a concept that not any Alien movies have done before except Alien vs. Predator Requiem, and that's not well received by many people except me. So that was just a concept where they completely fumbled the bag on entirely and completely wasted the idea of Alien on Earth. And those Godzilla MonsterVerse movies where they have King Kong and Godzilla, but they focus on the human characters, and this is not just the MonsterVerse, just like the Transformers movies too, where you have the main selling point, the Transformers, Godzilla, King Kong, whatever, but most of the movie you're focusing on these human characters because budget issues basically is the main reason, and you just don't care for the human characters at all. That's what this show is. where you have the concept of Alien, every single scene with Alien in it is the best part of it, but the actual human characters you don't really care about. Now, yes, this show, this time around, I did care for a lot more characters, but most of it was not interesting at all, especially since coming off of episode 5 for most of the show. I wanted to see episode 5 because that was exactly what I wanted from the show, but just in space instead. This time, most of the show is establishing these characters for an ending that is extremely poorly executed. That finale was very weak. The entire time it didn't even feel like a finale. Alien was just gone half the movie. It's very much character driven with the finale, and by the time it all actually ends, it's sudden, it's rushed, it just feels very weird. All these different plot lines are still opened up for season 2, which I don't know what's gonna happen with that. But you took this concept of Alien on Earth and completely wasted it because you wanted to focus on these characters, which, for the most part, did work for me, but on the other half, you didn't finish off the story right, you didn't do the execution right, so none of it by the end mattered. All this is leading to absolutely nothing. A poorly executed finale, where Alien is not even in it at all, and everything about this show is just completely wasted. I do think this show does have a lot to offer that does work, and I say the show is worth watching alone. For episode 5, I would say skip the entire show just to watch episode 5. But other than that, this show is just something that exists out there. It does some good stuff with the characters where I did connect to the characters for the most part until a rushed finale. That finale was just completely rushed. If you're expecting for Alien to be on Earth, actually attacking Earth, and for the concept to be Alien Earth, you expect a lot of Alien on Earth. But you don't get that in here. Don't expect that. Just expect a show about characters with Alien as a side piece. But anyways, if you like this video, maybe these ones on the side ones you too. Like, subscribe. See you guys next time. Goodbye.